So, I'm not sure how familiar people are with FaZe Clan these days. Back in the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 days, they were legends. Granted, this was back when a few sick trick shots in a COD game were all you needed to attain massive YouTube success. FaZe Clan and the other gaming clans from that era paved the path for esports in the very earliest days. And what happened to them is pretty much the reason that all esports companies fail. You might have heard that recently their stock got pulled off the stock market in an acquisition by gamesquare, right as they were poised to get kicked off the stock market for their stock being priced lower than $1. Well, the new company has put FaZe Banks, one of the original members, back in charge of FaZe, and over the weekend he made some big moves, firing most of their talent. That's right, the majority of everyone who was under the FaZe umbrella was fired. Honestly, Banks was wild for how he fired them. It was the most public and brutal firing that I think we've ever seen from any esports org, which is honestly a sign that the old FaZe is coming back. Today, let's talk about what happened. If you're not familiar with the downfall of FaZe Clan, it's not that difficult to explain. The original founders brought on a team to manage the business side. Eventually, since the people they brought on were more familiar with corporate maneuvering and business laws than a bunch of teenagers who made all their money playing Call of Duty, they eventually outmaneuvered the original FaZe guys, and before you knew it, a bunch of suits who didn't appear to have known anything about video games were suddenly in control of FaZe Clan, which was at the time one of the most recognizable brands in gaming. Unfortunately, it turns out the kinds of people who run traditional businesses aren't very good at running video game companies, which isn't a FaZe specific problem. You see it all across the esports world. Business people don't understand gaming, they don't understand YouTube, and they don't understand Twitch, which is why most esports teams end up losing ridiculous amounts of money. In the case of FaZe, the things that the corpos did while in charge of the brand literally made no sense at all if you know the industry. The most egregious example was when they signed Snoop Dogg to the FaZe brand, wasting who knows how much money to have Snoop Dogg talk about FaZe a couple of times, and I think he might have worn a FaZe necklace once. What was the purpose of that? Well, corpos don't tend to realize that in the gaming space, traditional celebrities are completely useless. No one cares if you've got Snoop Dogg signed to your org. What people want are YouTubers or streamers, not celebrities. Anyway, at some point FaZe went public, going into the stock market, which, as you can see, did not go very well. There's a lot of reasons, but one of the most obvious ones, in my opinion, was the completely insane choices they were making. I think at one point they tried to recruit an actress who was in Stranger Things as well, which was a whole nother can of worms. But it seems like the failure of the FaZe stock might have ended up being a good thing, because FaZe was acquired by gamesquare, who seemed to see the value in an esports / video game org owned by the people who actually know esports and video games, as they've put FaZe Banks back in charge of the company, which leads us to the events of the weekend. Now, anyone paying attention knew that layoffs at FaZe were coming. The org had way too many people, and a lot of them didn't even make sense to have ever joined. What people didn't expect was the absolutely brutal way that they announced the firings. The FaZe Twitter tweeted out this video, simply captioned Control-Alt-Delete, which shows all the members that they were keeping. FaZe Banks then clarified the meaning, tweeting, Adapt, Apex, Banks, Jev, Kaysen, Nick Merckx, Replays, Ronaldo, Rug, Scope, Swag, Temper, Your Rage, Zuma. Everyone else is out. That is the roster. Basically telling the world that any member that is not on that list is fired, which is apparently how a number of now former members found out that they didn't make the cut. I cannot imagine being fired that way. But at the same time, this is the kind of thing you'd have expected out of the original FaZe, who were never exactly politically correct. This kind of brutal firing is in effect a return to form for FaZe, and reminds me of the older internet, back when you were allowed to be mean and uncaring. In effect, this kind of thing is what FaZe was known for. It's gonna be interesting to see where FaZe goes from here. Obviously, they were trimming the roster to save money, because given how their stock price was back when it was on the exchange, my guess is that they had a few cash flow problems. So this is obviously one of the first steps to try and fix that. No reason to keep too many people on the payroll if you can avoid it. From what's being reported about what Banks has said, it seems like they are trying to go back to their roots, which means a focus on making content and grinding YouTube and streaming, which will probably work better than whatever it was they were focused on in the past couple of years. So I'd say that it looks like they're headed in a good direction, because it does, but I'm also a little worried that they might get kinda lost in the sauce. Banks has been a very outspoken voice in the crypto and NFT space. Now, I'm not exactly anti-NFT myself, but I don't think that they're being used in a particularly useful way at this point. My concern would be that they start to focus too hard on crypto and NFT stuff, given Banks is in charge. Crypto can be very sketchy, especially when influencers get involved. It's amazing the government hasn't gone after after more YouTubers for the crazy cryptos they pushed. But NFTs are really murky water for them to wade into, and it's something Banks is personally really into. The problem is that if FaZe starts messing around with NFTs, that will most likely hurt their already damaged brand. As you probably know, most gamers are not fans of NFTs. In fact, in a lot of cases, people's dislike of NFTs is fanatical to an almost religious degree. So I don't think that it's an overstatement to say that I think it would be a bad direction for them to go in. Granted, thus far they haven't done anything with that, it's just something I suspect will come in the future. I'm glad to see FaZe rising from the ashes of what it used to be, and am hopeful for their future. It feels like it's part of this kind of push to try to bring the internet back to simpler times, before the mass censorship, back when the internet was free. I guess it's just nostalgic for me. What do you guys think? Did you even remember who FaZe were? Or did this sound like the inane babbling of a crazy old man? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and God bless you.